Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Renegade Home Theater. This is your host, Keona. With me tonight, I have Hayden
Hello.
and I have Jacob.
What's up, y'all?
All right, guys, we have 5 movies to cover, so let's get started. First of all, before we move on, I do want to mention the fact that the legendary actor Christopher Plummer passed away yesterday at the age of 91. Do you
Yeah.
guys have any particular memories of him and his performances that you would like to share?
I remember him in Knives Out, and that seemed like a nice reflection of him as an actor. His personality until, like, especially in his older years, when he sort of became the wise grandfather, kind of had that sly sense of humor to him, and he lived an incredible life, spanning countless amazing projects, and he leaves behind a great legacy that's not going to be topped anytime soon.
I have very fond memories of watching him in The Sound of Music when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I love
Same.
that movie, and even if he did not love that movie and called it The Sound of Mucus, which that is a true story. But like, even though he didn't like the movie, like he still like gave it his all, and it's still like a great performance. And I just find that speaks to a lot of like the power that he had as a performer. I believe he still has the record of oldest winner of an Academy Award.
Yeah, for beginners.
At least for acting, and then he was nominated for just replacing a certain person in another movie.
Yes.
That shall not be named. In
All the Money in the World.
Money in the World.
Yeah.
And like his 20 minutes were probably the most memorable thing about that movie, despite it being shot like it's like just to replace somebody. And he was the first choice in the first place. So
sometimes things just work out like that. Yeah, I have to echo that, Hayden. Your Sound of Music memories as well. I thought he just really owned that movie, as much as Julie Andrews did as well. Both of them just fantastic performers, and they gave it their all. And so nice to hear that they became close friends over the years. I thought, he's just brilliant in every single role that he took on, and you could tell he was a consummate professional. No matter what his personal feelings were, he really laid it all out there for everybody, and just was an immense actor, an immense legend of a person. So rest in peace, Christopher Plummer. And that was a tough one for me personally. He lived a long life though, and he really left a legacy for all of us to enjoy. So moving on now, we have our first movie. Jacob, you're the guy in charge, so what would you like to cover first?
Well, I think we should cover a more upbeat, have movie that we have a much rosier opinion than some of the other movies we'll be talking about soon.
Okay.
One Night in Miami.
Great
So
choice.
One Night in Miami is a big hypothetical where Jim Brown, Sam Cooke, Muhammad Ali, and Malcolm X all share their time in a hotel room in Miami, and it's about their conflicting philosophies. Particularly, it's more specifically Malcolm X and everyone else, because Malcolm X, he's decided to burn some bridges. He departs the Nation of Islam, and in his relationships with everyone else is essentially put to the test, especially Jim Cooke, for he believes making music that sort of panders to the white man, basically. And
Sam Cooke, for the record.
What?
Sam Cooke.
Sam? Oh, did I say Jim Brown?
It's you said Jim Cooke. It's Sam.
Oh,
Cooke.
sorry, Sam. Sorry, Sam
okay.
Cooke.
Yeah.
So Sam Cooke, and yeah, it's a reflection of these four historical titans and what their legacy will end up being. It's the directorial debut of Regina King, who has previously won an Academy Award for her performance in If Beale Street Could Talk. And she does a marvelous job, I believe, in her debut.
Yeah.
So, I'll discuss my thoughts a little more, but what do you think, Kiona?
I liked it. I thought it was very, very good. You're going to hear me say this a lot throughout this show. Performances, it's all about the performances. Excellent, excellent job. Leslie Odom Jr. as Sam Cooke. You guys know how much I respect this man as an actor and as a performer, as a musician. I first, knew of him through a show called Person of Interest, where he played like a privacy terrorist almost, which was because that show was basically about a surveillance state and everything and AI and stuff like that. And so he came on and he played a guy named Peter Kingsley, and he was like an armed terrorist guy who was fighting for people's privacy to be protected. So that interesting role for him.
Yeah.
Very different from everything else that he's done since, but I thought that he was a great part of that show. And then to see him in Hamilton and to see him in this, it's just like, yeah, his star just keeps on rising, in my opinion. So what a great actor. Kingsley Ben-Adir as Malcolm X. Did you guys also get this? Did you get the sense that he could play like a young Barack Obama?
Actually, I wasn't thinking that at first, but now that you say it, yeah, that totally works.
Yeah, I could see him play that because he just has the speech pattern. I don't know, it's just something. But his performance as Malcolm X was terrific. You could see the conflict that he was facing and his sort of internal strife over his decision to leave the Nation of Islam, and then of course what happens to him in the end of the film. I know that this was a fictitious idea, but he was just a hell of a performance by him. Eli Gorey as Cassius Clay / Muhammad Ali. I have never heard of him before. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else. He nailed it. All those times in the ring where he was like, "I'm the greatest," it's just like, it's echoes of Muhammad Ali, just perfect.
Yeah, spinning image.
Yes, absolutely. And Aldous Hodge as Jim Brown. The voice, the presence, utterly just great casting. I liked some of the cameos in there as well. We had Beau Bridges in there as just at first you thought he was nice to Jim Brown because of the way he was complimenting him, and then he just ends up being a horrible person. Beau Bridges is a terrific character actor. He did a great job there.
It's just me, or have his eyebrows just gotten bigger though?
Right. It's not just you. I agree. And I got to mention one more guy for me because it's Lance Reddick as Brother Kareem.
I love him.
That guy is amazing. Have you guys ever seen, you guys should look up this video where he did that. That's called like Toys R Me.
Yeah,
it's like a spoof video that he did for College Humor or something like that, and it was just one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But anyway, Lance Reddick, he's just
I adore him in the John Wick films. He's so good in John Wick. I just I love that performance and that character.
Yeah. Agreed. Thematically, I think that it was such an interesting film and such an interesting idea to have them all in the same hotel room and just discussing their various approaches to how they would, how they live their lives and how they combat racism and face it down every single day of their lives. And Regina King's direction was impeccable. The screenplay by Kemp Powers is amazing. The cinematography was great. I would say this movie is one of the films of this bunch that I would highly, highly recommend.
Yeah, and this is actually based off Ken Powers' play, I should note. And
that's right.
And he was also the co-director for Soul for Pixar.
No kidding. Wow.
So he's got a bright future ahead of him.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
So all the actors are just phenomenal, and what I liked is you can actually tell that a lot of them, they have very distinct personalities. Like Muhammad Ali, he's kind of like the big teddy bear, and Jim Brown is, he's the football type. He's the cool guy,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
It also talks about his transition to becoming an actor. Sam Cooke is the fun guy. He's just the light on his feet, the lighthearted guy. And he really sells when Malcolm X is basically bad mouthing him and calling him an Uncle Tom, basically. Like,
Yeah.
basically saying that his lyrics songs aren't incendiary enough. And
Yep.
and Malcolm, he's basically the intellectual. He's the kind of the serious one. He's just the stone cold type of guy, and a lot of that comes from his conversion to Islam. And this movie, it actually takes place a few months before Malcolm X went to Mecca, which is a requirement for Muslims to and he softened up towards white people when he saw that there were white Muslims too. Yeah. About Sam Cooke, like, you can tell, like, the friction between him and Malcolm is so believable. It's basically like, where Malcolm is coming from, but at the same time, you also you feel Sam's passion too, like, and you do feel sorry for him, because the movie starts off like all of them. It's basically them being getting the short end of the stick, basically, like with Muhammad losing and in a boxing match in London. Sam Cooke, he's performing at the Copacabana, and the white audience doesn't like that he's covering a song that they thought was better covered by Debbie Reynolds.
Did that remind you of the end of Ma Rainey?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna mention that this will be a great double feature with Ma Rainey.
Yeah.
The other aspect I really liked, like that I thought was really interesting, was how they touched on colorism, and how Malcolm X was like a lighter skin tone. I thought that was like a really fascinating, like it's something I hear about a lot, like within the Black community, and it was like an interesting conversation of how, like, he was lighter skinned than like a lot of the people in the out of the four. And yeah, I just thought that was a really interesting discussion.
A lot of ideas that were discussed in this film that you wouldn't really think of, especially if you're not a Black person watching the film. I felt that certain things that they brought up, certain topics that they brought up, were just completely just a different perspective than I'd ever seen before.
Yeah, it makes you question the value of martyrdom, basically, the value of incendiary kind of revelatory speeches, and what Black power really means to them, because to them it just means doing whatever you want without people complaining. Essentially, why people complain about it. It's basically the power is doing what you want to do without really having to make a statement about it.
Yeah, being your authentic self without having people judge you.
Yep. And also, in movie shows, Malcolm X, he is kind of putting his family in danger when he cuts all these ties with the Nation of Islam. And he makes, and the movie kind of questions, like, is martyrdom, is it a necessarily better form of speech than entertainment, like than sports or music, or boxing? It's kind of, it kind of makes you value both. And values both representation in art, and also just like being a real firebrand for civil rights and such. The movie, they even call out Malcolm X for when JFK was assassinated. He said it was the chickens coming home to roost. So yeah, that's kind of like, you're like, oh, Malcolm, are you really sure you want to do that? You want to draw that much of a target on your back?
I see what you're saying. I think that with Malcolm X's character in this movie, the way that he was presented, I felt like he was a very principled man who was doing, I think, the right thing. I think he was standing up for the right thing. But I do see your point in terms of, like, it was just that he was going to be in danger anyway.
Yeah.
To be honest, because he was such a firebrand and he was already on the front lines even after Martin Luther King had been assassinated. I think that he was, already he already had a target on his back. And so he's a man who wanted to do everything that he could for the cause that he believed in. And if the cost of that was his own life, I felt like he would have said it was worth it.
Yeah,
And I
it
think he
actually
did
kind
say
of
that.
ends with that quote saying, like, again, like the movie, it kind of critiques that because they do the guys, his friends, they kind of end up feeling like props. They like feeling like tools for his movement, like like Muhammad, he at one point feels used by Malcolm, like when he converts to Islam, kind of like
Yeah, initially he's a bit he brings that up to him, and he says, so you're just using me for basically a publicity stunt, which
yeah.
I don't think he was, but I think that there was also like you could misconstrue that.
Yeah, it like I said, it kind of it both criticizes that spirit that Malcolm had, also celebrates it at the same time, which I didn't think they would be able to pull off, but they really did.
Because at the end, basically, Sam Cooke does what Malcolm had suggested to him, which was, after he played the Bob Dylan song, that he said Bob Dylan put more feeling into this song than you have in any of your hit songs, and just called it a task on that. And Sam Cooke, in the end, does write a song that's as powerful, as what Malcolm basically told him to write, and it's a powerful song. It's a great song.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be up for an Oscar. So,
Yeah,
hey, anything you want to add?
I don't really have much else to say, but I just like this was a really well done movie. It was like very like the performances just all clicked together. It felt very organic, and yeah, it was a very, very incredibly well done film. And Regina King, this being her first feature length movie, she's directed shorts before this. I see like a very bright future ahead of her.
Absolutely.
Yes,
As a director.
absolutely.
As a director, I mean.
Yes. Yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah, like you could kind of tell this movie was based on a play. Because and honestly, it kind of reminded me more than anything, kind of remember the two popes, that Netflix movie.
Oh yeah,
that was also and then it discussed larger than life people who are also conflicting about where their place in the world is, and how to deliver a message to their followers and stuff, and then butting heads, of course, and the fact that that was also based on a play. But this movie, it managed to be cinematic enough to where you could look past the fact that it was based off a play, just because of the direction and the performances.
And again, that fits in with the Ma Rainey thing, like doing this as a double feature because they're both based on plays.
Yeah.
You
also talk about, and both movies talk about whether or not black music should appeal to white tastes and such, and they don't like about what should be, how should they try to reach their respective audience and such.
Do you think it's an inherently political film?
It is. Well, by political, you just mean advocating for representation, and I don't think in that regard it's not necessarily. It has a lot on its mind about the civil rights movement, and you can kind of like ask that question today, is like, how much should black art be trying to appeal to a wide audience? And so I think it's absolutely it's relevant. I think
I tend to be of the opinion that art speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, and then it's up to the viewer to interpret it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely a political film, and I mean there's an aspect that all art is inherently political.
Yes.
But I think this one wears it pretty on its sleeve. It's like a very well done message that people should really give a look at.
I think it presents an ideological argument in each case with each character that is something where people can actually look at this and learn from it.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance.
Yeah.
scene in how they interact, and it's a very interesting, both as a character study and a narrative.
Yeah, Regina King, what a job! Your first like huge directorial debut, and just nail it as perfectly as you have. So yeah, I really liked it. Highly recommended, like I said. All right, Jacob, should we move on to the next one?
One Night Miami, you can watch it on Amazon.
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah, Amazon Prime.
The next movie is a big reason why we had Hayden on board, because he suggested this Promising Young Woman.
Ooh.
Hayden, want to start this off?
Yeah, so without spoilers, Promising Young Woman is the directorial debut of Emerald Fennell. It tells the story of a woman who at one point was an aspiring doctor, who had her life completely shifted before she dropped out of medical school. And the whole movie is really about like ultimately about about trauma that women go through, and in a very darkly comedic way. The movie is pretty divisive, but I myself am a huge fan. Carey Mulligan is the star with a great ensemble cast, including Bo Burnham, Molly Shannon, Jennifer Coolidge, Alfred Molina. So
Alison Brie,
yeah,
Clancy Brown.
Yeah. Great cast, and a really interesting script that I just happen to love.
Yeah, Promising Young Woman. This was a very electrifying debut, I should say, from another very promising female director. Yeah, it's also a movie that has a lot on its mind. It's definitely a Me Too era movie. We'll just put it that way. It's harrowing when it needs to be. Like you said, hey, it's also darkly comic when it needs to be. It builds up to a finale that at first may not be satisfying at first, but it really becomes so when it's closer to the end. Keelan, what you think?
Favorite movie of the bunch, right here.
Wow.
Favorite movie of the bunch. Yes. I gotta say, this movie, I don't know what I was expecting watching it, coming into it, because I looked at it, I looked at the trailer, I was just like, man, I don't know really if I'm gonna like this. Watched it, it was amazing. The cameos are great in this movie. Like Adam Brody is your first cameo. That's something. Christopher Mintz-Plasse, and Alison Brie, who I love so dearly. She's so great. Connie Britton was in this too, and of course Alfred Molina. You got Bo Burnham, you got Clancy Brown, Jennifer Coolidge, Molly Shannon even is in this.
Also, Laverne Cox.
Laverne Cox is in
right. Laverne Cox. There's so many people in this. It's like this ensemble is just so perfect. Like even Max Greenfield as well. In there. And something really interesting about the casting is like with the guys especially is like they really cast a lot of like people who are known as like quote unquote nice guys, and really like puts that to test.
Like very likable actors.
Yeah, like they're known for being like the kind of dorky, fun, nice guy, and it just really puts the whole to task.
The character actors.
Yeah, like it's a very deliberate choice, and I really applaud Emerald Fennell and for going there and doing that.
Yeah. Now Emerald Fennell, she's from The Crown, right?
Yeah, she played Camilla.
Okay.
On season 4 of The Crown, so quite an interesting year for her.
Yeah. This is her feature film debut as well as a director, isn't it? And maybe not as a screenwriter, but as a director, right?
Definitely as a director. She's also written for the show Killing Eve, which is a great show. If you haven't watched it, watch Killing Eve. It's great.
And this was produced by Margot Robbie's company, I believe.
Yeah,
chap.
Correct.
Yeah. So so just to get to the plot now, I think that for me personally, I was riveted watching this film because I just didn't know what the heck was going on at first. Like the way that they play that first intro where you meet Adam Brody and he just kind of, he acts like Adam Brody, he acts like a down to earth dude just trying to help out this poor woman who's apparently like blackout drunk. Takes her to his place, and then all of a sudden you find out that, well, it's not what you think. And that to me was shocking. Like I remember I watched this very late at night. So like when that scene happens where she like, the reveal occurs and she's like, "Excuse me, what were you gonna do?" I just
Oh,
freaked out a little bit because I was just like, whoa, this is like this is next level. Okay, I like it. I already like it.
yeah.
Um just going through the events of the film, when she met Bo Burnham, did you guys kind of catch on that something was up with him at first?
Um, not at first, no. But what they would do to this character, it's pretty heartbreaking actually, because because you do get a sense that maybe this woman, she even approaches this one woman who's attached to her trauma, her
Mhm.
current drama, and she says, you just kind of let it go, like I don't want you to go down this path. And later she finds herself no choice but to keep doing this method of tracking down predators and stuff. It's because, yeah, and it's a movie. It reveals a lot about these characters, I think, and it also, if you know that this woman, she does some kind of morally gray stuff, at least at first, like of how she tries to essentially get revenge on the people who were involved in this certain unfortunate events, like because how she basically makes them feel the trauma that she felt.
Yeah, Carrie Mulligan in this is excellent. Well deserving of an award nomination in my opinion. She plays Cassandra, her character, as just this sardonic, like, you know, darkly witty person who is stuck in like a dead end job and almost in a dead end life. Like her whole life is consumed by this need for revenge, essentially,
Yeah,
for what happened to her best friend. And I think that the way that she plays it, she kind of understates that. Like this is not like a death wish revenge flick. This is not like a like a Peppermint with Jennifer Garner where she goes and gets all buff and starts like training how to shoot machine guns and stuff.
yeah.
Like this is the total utter opposite of all those revenge flick thriller type films. And she's not a superhero, but what she is she's cunning and she's smart and she's, just got that wicked sense of humor. I love her character so much. And what she does to them, she has a line that she doesn't quite go across except for a couple of instances. And in those instances, she kind of lands in trouble for them. So there is a consequence even to her actions.
Yeah.
So I just feel like, the way that the film actually goes through her life and gives us a picture of where she's at, it does an incredible service to her character and her development, and the fact that she has an out, she could get out of this lifestyle that she has, but she doesn't. So, and then in the
So
end, it's I won't say what happens because we don't want to spoil it, but the ending was so shocking to me. I couldn't believe that they did what they did, and then just yeah, I was shook.
yeah. So anything you want to add, Hayden?
Yeah, it's just like a very interesting piece that's like going to be divisive, but like I think that makes for a more interesting film sometimes when like the ending is like very um divisive and people argue over it. That makes for interesting discussion, and I like it when movies are ultimately brave enough to make that choice. This is a very it's I like to say that this movie is a tragedy in disguise as a comedy, and it does that balance for me. It did that balance beautifully,
Mhm.
and you really understand where the characters are coming from, even understand specifically where Carey Mulligan's character is coming from, even if you understand that it's a result of trauma and like what that does to a person.
Kind of using that trauma actually to stop other people from feeling that trauma.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Jacob.
No, you go.
Oh, I got a couple more points. One was I wanted to ask you guys a question, but before I get to that, what I wanted to say is that all these there's a certain amount of criticism where people are saying that this movie is against men, and I don't feel that at all.
No.
I think that because she takes down a couple of women in this movie that sort of are part of the establishment that sort of brought about the terrible thing that happened to her in the past and to her friend in the past. So they are a part of the system, the corrupt system that she kind of rages against. And she does, she does go after them. Like it's not a gender focused thing. It's a thing about just getting justice for her friend or getting vengeance for her friend.
And she even spares Alfred Molina at one point, even though he was involved as well. Yeah, he says that he regrets, the part that he played in this trauma. And there's even when she walks out, there's a guy out front by his car, her car, and he's like, "You want me to go in?" And she says, "No, don't, just leave him alone."
Yeah, and she accepts it because of how she felt that his repentance to her, the fact that he says, "I want you to hurt me."
Yeah.
It speaks to how haunted he is by it as well. So
yeah, she thinks that some people can be redeemed.
Yeah. I don't think she's a horrible person. See, that's the thing. I don't think that she's a bad person necessarily. I just think that she is putting herself in a dangerous situation, and she is kind of obsessed with this idea, but at the same time you also understand where she's coming from. So it's not a cut and dried character. It's a very complex character, and I feel like that complexity is missing from a lot of these revenge flicks. Where it's just like that movie Peppermint, for instance. I don't know how many people saw that. Really, it's not worth it in my opinion. But as much as I love Jennifer Garner, but I mean, she takes out the guys that killed her family within the first 15 minutes of the film or 20 minutes of the film, and you don't even see her do that. There's no catharsis there. It's just it's just nope. She's gonna just climb up the chain of this gang or whatever, and it's just it's stupid. I didn't like that movie. So
lots of
this movie kind of. Right. Yeah. And well, rightfully so, I think. And this movie is just an upending of that, and just it's a much better film in my opinion. It also, the way that they wrote this screenplay and her character reminded me a little bit of this of The Last of Us 2, then the video game, and I think they handled the whole revenge trip better here than they did in that game, quite frankly. So, and of course we can talk about that on another episode of The Arcade. I'll probably mention it at some point. But my question to you guys is, did you think that the ending, without spoiling anything, did you think that the ending was too contrived for its own good? Like the very end ending?
No, I didn't think so.
For me, I think the ending made the whole movie worthwhile. If it didn't have that ending, I still would have liked the movie, but I don't see myself loving it as much as I do without the ending.
I agree.
Yeah. Like I said, it's satisfying at the very end, even though it doesn't seem like it at first.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to mention anything else, but I will never hear one specific song the same way ever again.
I know what you're talking about, I think.
Actually, two songs. I'm going to say two songs specifically.
Two songs, yeah. I got you. Yep. Oh, man. Yeah, what a movie. I loved it so much. Yeah, like I said, it's my favorite of the 5 that we chose for this podcast, so. Yep. So you guys can watch Promising Young Woman. It's available for rent on pretty much all the digital platforms. It costs $19.99 for the rental. So it is one of those premium VOD films, but to me, it's well worth it.
Deserves to be premium, definitely.
Yeah. Support him. Give him some money. All right, should we move on?
All right, so our next movie is the recent and Warner Brothers and HBO Max's current release strategy, The Little Things. Kiona, why don't you want to start us off with this one?
Sure. Okay, I'm going to just I'm gonna read off of Wikipedia here so that I don't have to put too much thought into coming up with a synopsis. But basically, Little Things is a 2021 American neo-noir crime film. I say that's being generous. Written and directed by John Lee Hancock, who also did The Blind Side, and he's done like a whole bunch of other movies. I think he did The Founder as well.
Yeah, and Saving Mr. Banks.
Saving Mr. Banks, yeah. And produced by Hancock himself and Mark Johnson, who is also the screenwriter, I believe, or co-producer, I should say. The plot follows two police officers, Denzel Washington and Rami Malek, who tried to catch a serial killer in 1990 Los Angeles when they find a strange man played by Jared Leto.
Our favorite human being.
Take us to the echelon, Jared. Who becomes their top suspect. So this movie was written apparently in 1993, so almost 30 years ago.
I could barely tell.
Right.
Yeah.
And set in Los Angeles because every single crime thriller has to be set in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up that for taking place in Los Angeles in the early 90s, the sky was way too clear.
Right.
LA was nowhere near that clear in the early 90s. There was smog everywhere. So I'm just bringing that up.
The nicest thing I can say about this movie is I liked the score by Thomas Newman. I thought Denzel was good in it. I thought that the poster is nice.
Yeah.
Apart from that,
you're scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of compliments when you bring up the poster.
How many of us think that Jared Leto deserved a Golden Globe nomination for this performance?
Cricket.
Oh man.
Let me tell you, he's basically playing the guy from Blade Runner 2049 that he played, except he's not blind and he's a hobo now. Almost a hobo.
Yeah.
But I mean, seriously, dude, this movie was like getting a freaking root canal. This is like the never-ending torturous experience that was my high school career. This movie is like playing the old NES Silver Surfer game and dying every single time you don't run into an orb, and yet it kills you. This movie sucked ass. I hate this movie. I hate this movie.
I don't know if I would say it sucked ass, but it was definitely not a distinguishable movie of this type of genre.
What did you guys think of Rami Malek in this? Do you think
he was awful?
Do you think he was?
Not Rami Malek. He was okay, but I'm still not sure if he can really pull off a straight drama.
Rami Malek was I think he's a great actor.
I think so too, but
in this he was horribly miscast. This is the role.
Yeah.
This is not good for him. It's not the right role
working for him at all. And I was just and it was honestly a real shame to see. Like,
the only time I thought he was really good was when they first introduced him, and he was kind of a douchebag. Like that I could kind of buy if he was like a douchebag to Denzel the whole time. But he became like this serious straight-laced dude, and I was just like, I don't know that I like this role for him. Or
it's just not for him. He's better when he's playing just large and exaggerated characters like Freddie Mercury.
Jared Leto.
I do not understand how people looked at this performance and thought, yes, let's give this award consideration. Like,
right?
I know.
What even is this? I don't even know.
At the end, when can we just say that this movie is basically Seven, but without
stupider?
It's Seven, but bad.
Stupider 7.
Super 7, even down to the climax taking place in a desert.
And Jared Leto delivering the line in all of this screenwriting brilliance. Oh, poop. I think I made a boo-boo. I think I made a boo.
What's that about?
It's like, oh, poop. I don't think the body's actually there. Oh.
No,
and he has Marley Malek dick, though.
He straight up says the full line is, oh, poop. I think I made a boo-boo. That is the line. Nobody, like, I don't understand how, like, the script, like, nobody saw these lines and we're like, okay, put a pin in that. Maybe we should get, like, a script doctor to fix these lines. With every single cliched line. The second,
oh my God.
And at one point, Jared Leto just says, you know, you and I are a lot alike. As if that has not played out its welcome in cinema, like in 2001, like 2002. Like, that line is so dated.
Yeah,
so dated.
I don't even know like what the twist was. I don't know what the stuff with the beret was. Like, it was just like at the end, like it kind of like, because one of the girls that he allegedly kidnapped, she wore a red beret, and later like they're burning. Can we just spoil it? Because
yeah, this one you can spoil. Who cares?
Yeah, the movie is, they bury him, basically. Denzel Washington, Rami Malek. They raid his apartment. They take all the kind of evidence. They're covering up their crime, basically. They put them in trash bags. And Denzel Washington, he's burning it. He takes out this pack of red berets. So this pack of berets, and one of them, the red one, is missing. So I guess
he
that was
sent it
saying
to
that
Rami
he was.
Malek.
And one thing I want to bring up that like was really distracting to me was the editing was distracting the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Entire movie. Like, there was something weird about the rhythm of the edits. Like, they seem to they seem to wait too long to cut to the next shot, or didn't or too soon. It was just something felt very off, and it was just distracting me the entire time. And the
most visually interesting moment that happens in this movie is when Denzel Washington's in his car and they look at his rear view window and they show it's like a reflection from a memory of his from a previous case that he was covering, like a crime scene that he was at. That was the most visually interesting. And it cuts to him in the car during that part. That was the most visually interesting thing in this movie, basically.
And what was with the weird sort of religious undertone of the film that they never really did anything? I don't think they did either.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, just oh my God, nobody in this movie acts like a human. They all talk like reject Tarantino.
Yes.
That don't know how they were like. It would be one thing if it were like one person who didn't act like a normal human thing, but like everybody in this acts like I don't know how they act.
Remember that line that you shared in the group chat, Hayden? That was like where Denzel literally says he pulls him up after they're interrogating Jared Leto.
Jared Leto is apparently turned on by dead bodies.
Yes, apparently.
I forget the context, but he just says, "Your dick is as hard as Chinese arithmetic."
What? I don't remember that. It was
what? What does that even mean?
Dick is as hard as Chinese arithmetic.
Oh my God!
I don't think Chinese arithmetic differs than like not Chinese arithmetic.
Regular arithmetic.
There's no difference, and I guess, and it's also just like a weirdly racist throwaway line that made it the movie.
And the utter lack of suspense in this film.
Yeah, it's like the movie, like it implies like the whole conflict, I think, is that Denzel Washington is that the reason why his wife left him was because he was being too entrenched in this case, which it's a conflict we've seen 1,000 times in this type of movie. It's based, and in the end, of course, he says to Rami Malek, "Hey, don't get yourself too deep in this shit." Whatever. And the twist, the twist in this movie is that he's been killing is that he killed these women who were involved in these cases, who survived these. Like, what was like he killed them so
or might have, like, he probably did it, but like it was also the like I didn't understand the point of making it like so
Yeah.
like
Was it
obvious
that he
might have been the killer or something.
was it that he
and
killed one of them by accident?
It was
when
so weird.
and in the end, you're like, when they're having, and then that flashback when they're at the autopsy, and like that one dead girl, she's on the table, and then her eyes open, and she turns his head to him.
And also like he starts talking to the corpse, like,
Yeah.
and I saw as and there was there was that scene where the landlord just randomly shows up and just like, I thought you guys were beginning to leave, like after like they were searching the apartment, like this is like like later that day, and it's just like, where did you come from? What, we never, I don't think we saw you before, so we're
Okay, there was a critic who said that when Denzel goes back, or like, you know, when he goes back to like his old precinct and he's talking to the captain, they half expected the captain to say he's a loose cannon and throw the badge at him or something, or like turn in his badge because you're a loose cannon, Deke.
the one thing that I was thinking was like I have a conspiracy theory about the making of this movie, is that it is actually a student film, and that Denzel, Rami, and Jared are all just fulfilling community service hours by helping a student film.
Yeah, like they're trying to pay a parking ticket or something.
Yeah, and that's like that's it. That's like my big.
Jared Leto's past is caught up to him.
Oh yeah.
Oh, can I read you Leonard Maltin's review of this film?
I love Leonard Maltin. Go ahead.
Because his review just matches up with my thoughts on it. Okay, so this is Leonard Maltin's review here. Quote, "One of the 7 deadly sins of movie making, perhaps the deadliest, is boring an audience. Having just been victimized by the little things, the least I can do is share my experience with you." Denzel Washington stars as a former LAPD homicide detective who has been reassigned to routine sheriff's deputy duty out in the boondocks. It takes a while to find out what skeletons are rattling in his closet, but during a brief trip to LA, he meets his replacement, a bright, dedicated man played by Rami Malek. His current task is trying to catch a serial rapist and killer. With no clues to go on, he accepts Washington's offer of help, and before long, he begins to adopt Washington's obsessive tendencies. Jared Leto is their number one suspect, but they have no proof of his guilt. This causes both men to do things that can only lead to trouble. Have they forgotten the laws they swore to uphold, or have they just taken leave of their senses? I don't know the answer. The Little Things is pointless, preposterous, and seemingly endless. It is far from Washington's best work and unworthy of his talented co-stars. I couldn't wait for it to be over. John Lee Hancock says he has lived with this story for nearly 30 years. It's a wonder that neither he nor anyone else recognized its plot holes, which are considerable. The only aspect of this film that's notable is a very modern-sounding score by the great Thomas Newman, but that's not reason enough to sit through this terrible movie.
Yeah.
I agree with every single point that he made.
Yeah, gotta love the Maltin.
When this movie isn't completely stupid and makes no sense, it's when that's not happening, it's completely boring.
Yes.
Yeah, it's boring.
It's either one of those two things. So
yeah,
and the boring bits do not make, like, it's not worth it just to see the stupid bits.
What was up with that one gag where we're introduced to Denzel Washington when he's outside of a restaurant and the restaurant owners complain, I think, that there was a shooting, and okay, the name of his restaurant is Black Angus, and there was like a shooting, I think, that happened where the G and Angus was shot down, so the sign looks like Black Anus.
Oh, what was that?
I know. It's like that kind of ends of this movie was, at least I was like, oh, okay, at least this movie has a sense of humor.
That is so bizarre.
I know, it's just so, what the fuck was that?
Oh my god, I don't even know.
Yeah, that's another racist bullshit that's in this movie, I guess, and it ends at even the opening where that girl is chased by apparently Jared Leto, I think, but then she's Saved by It. Like she doesn't come back at any point in the movie. When she's being chased, like she's driving in the night and she hides in this diner. I think. Well,
Was that not her at the police station when they were interrogating him though?
oh
Didn't they bring
yeah,
her
I
in to
think so.
ID
Yeah.
him?
Was that? I don't know. Like
I
I,
think
I
it was
zoned out. I
supposed to be
think
her
by the time
anyway.
she showed up.
The only good thing about that opening was the fact that Rome was on the radio, and I like that song. That's it.
Yeah, just to make you know that it was 1990.
Exactly.
Also, I have
So-
to appreciate the No Doubt poster.
The No Doubt, yes.
That, like,
that
which
was good.
and the song that has the lyrics, the little things, like that was cute. Movie, you tried.
You tried to be. The prop department was trying.
You were, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So
I hated this movie so much.
I don't know if I hated it, but it's definitely, yeah, there's no reason to watch this movie at all. There's really not. I gained nothing from it. It said nothing new about serial killers. It said nothing new about the life of a cop. It said nothing new about anything. It was just such a pointless movie.
I would imagine watching it is akin to implanting a diamond into your forehead.
Only that sounds more enjoyable.
At least you have a diamond after that.
Yeah. So, Little Things. It's on HBO Max if you really want to torture yourself that much.
And it's only streaming until February 28th.
Knock yourself out. Moving
Babylon
on
5.
to a Netflix release is a notable one for being apparently the first Hollywood movie and the first movie to have been written, shot, and distributed, the first major movie at least, to be released during the pandemic. It was Malcolm and Marie. Keona, you and I have seen this one, Malcolm and Marie.
Okay.
Starring John David Washington, Denzel Washington's son, and Zendaya as so they play Malcolm and Marie, who they drive home from the premiere of Malcolm's latest movie, and Marie is pissed that he didn't thank her in his opening speech. Okay, and the whole thing going from there is arguments and a scene of questionable intimacy. It's just that pattern over and over, like discussions about the themes of his movies and the inspiration for the writing of it and whether or not she should have played the main character. It's simply these two characters in this one location. We don't see anyone else. It's black and white. It certainly gave me mixed emotions, but what do you think, Keona?
I realize that there's some controversy surrounding this movie for me and surrounding the filmmaker Sam Levinson and how he's reacted to critics apparently in the past. I haven't really read up on it, but I'm aware of the fact that there is some criticism there. And of course, the age difference between John David Washington and Zendaya. But I think as a film...
God, I'm so bad at pronouncing stuff.
Oh, don't worry about it, man. I totally got what you meant. But in terms of it as a film, I liked the performances. I really did. I thought that both John David Washington and Zendaya did a good job with what they had, with the material they had. I would say that it reminded me a lot of that sort of relationship breakdown that we saw in Marriage Story, except this one wasn't as good.
Oh yeah, I remember. That was one movie that came to my mind, was Marriage Story.
Yeah. And I was talking to Josh about it, and he said that it reminded him of like the Richard Linklater's films that he made in the past, like Before Sunset.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I'm not a huge romance guy. So in a way, seeing the disillusion of a romance is kind of fun to watch for me. Like I like seeing these two people like argue with each other, and maybe that just proves that I have a heart of stone. But anyway, it seems like like there are aspects of this film that I would say are definitely worth criticizing and critiquing. But in terms of the movie as a film itself, I thought it was kind of powerful. I thought that the performances were good, and I thought that just in terms of the theme, the thematic elements and stuff, and the way that it resolves or doesn't resolve, in a sense,
Right.
it kind of shows you like it's a depiction of these two very egotistical, broken people,
Right.
more on one side than on the other, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
More on John David Washington's side, his character's side. But I think that it's how they relate to one another and the interplay between them was good. And the fact that he didn't thank her, that was the core of the whole thing. And it just, it spirals from there and it proves that he's so self-centered and
Yeah.
self-righteous.
Yeah.
And the way that he reacts to receiving a good review.
Oh yeah, that was actually the movie's highlight.
Oh my God. I mean, if I
It goes on
received
that huge diatribe
that
about
huge rant that just doesn't end, and by the time he's done with it, he just like falls down unconscious almost because he's so tired.
and Zendaya's like, that's your reaction to a good review.
Yeah. There were times that I really did like this movie, and there were times when, reading the criticism of it, I was like, yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that. But it's as a movie, it was I would say it was good. I would say it was above average at
Yeah,
the very least.
I'm kind of a sucker for movies that take place in enclosed environments, so it did win me over. Honestly, I was kind of watching this movie thinking that a lot of critics were loving it, actually, and I was like, well, I can actually see why. It does deliver insight into the writing process and how much our inspiration, the director's inspirations, factor into their movies. But then I saw the critical reception. It's like a 56 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well that makes sense too because these characters, these two, aren't incredibly likable.
So I read somewhere that somebody had said that it was sort of like the criticism that was levied against Birdman and La La Land, and the way that those films kind of look at criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically Birdman, the way that he has that, he has a little Michael Keaton's character has a little diatribe against the New York Times reporter lady who's the reviewer.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, I think there's always going to be that tension, and I think that we don't have to, critics and creatives don't have to be enemies,
Mm-hmm.
but I think there is that tension between the two because if you have a valid criticism against something, then it's your opinion first of all,
Mm-hmm.
and secondly, it's like taking into account like all the factors that normally would go into writing a critical review. I think that this movie kind of examines that from the artist's perspective in a decent way. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Okay, so yeah, I did kind of enjoy it, but I can see why the criticisms that are lobbied against it too. Because would you at least understand, like, when people say that this is an extremely toxic relationship?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I
there's
thought
just
that was
no.
the point of it.
Yeah, the movie ends like it kind of implies that both are equally in the wrong, but at the very end, like it kind of leans really hard on Marie's side.
Yeah, I think
It,
so.
it,
I
I
think she
just
has the one thing that she has up on him on Malcolm is the fact that he did not thank her. And that
Mhm,
last sort of soliloquy that she has, that last speech
yeah,
that she has where she says, she does all the thank yous.
yeah,
And
and
it's
yeah,
true.
and also even at the beginning when she makes him macaroni and cheese and he's eating it,
I
and like
totally
he's
I ate a thing of macaroni and cheese after that. I was so hungry for it. I was like, dude, the way he's
yeah.
eating it just made me hungry for it.
Yeah, he's yelling at her basically while he's eating it, calling her a bitch and stuff, and like saying that she's over dramatic while he's eating it. Well, while he's just chowing down on mac and cheese.
Yeah, that was funny. That was the most gourmet mac and cheese I've ever seen. I
Uh,
must say that I really like John David Washington as an actor, by the way.
yeah, he's good. Like he's a genuinely good actor. Like that one speech he gave about the role of identity politics in movies and all that. That was like genuinely entertaining. And also the part where he has to read the review through a paywall and he's like fumbling through his credit card.
Oh, that was so relatable. Okay, I related to that moment so much because that's me when I can't find something that I'm really looking for, and I'm just like, fuck, where the fuck is it? I'm just like dying and like screaming my head off and getting all mad, and then it turns out that it's like right on the desk somewhere and it was covered up by something.
Incidentally, as someone who has not seen this yet, I just want to bring up how we're reviewing two movies side to side with the father and son.
Yeah, true.
Just
True.
bring that up.
Denzel
I thought that
and
was.
John David, yeah.
I just thought
Yeah.
that was kind of funny.
Yeah,
I
John, he's better in this movie than I think he was in Tenet, actually.
And I liked him in Tenet. I thought he was the best thing about Tenet.
Yeah. Except that
Which
script didn't
is
really give him
not saying
that
much.
much emotion to work with.
No, but he had at least like a sense of humor in the movie, which was better than most of the
Yeah.
characters in that film.
Yeah, I just wish
did not
that
like that
Chris.
film.
Yeah, I just wish Chris Nolan gave him, a bit more dramatics and like him to actually try and
Yeah,
give the character at least give him a little more identity
something.
besides literally just calling him the protagonist.
The protagonist.
Like, geez, how freaking pretentious can you get? Like, Hayden, does this sound like something you'd be interested in?
I might check it out. I did actually enjoy Assassination Nation by Robinson. I do really like Zendaya and John David Washington, so
Yeah,
might
they're good
check
in
this
this.
out. Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, Malcolm Marie, it's on Netflix. Give it a watch and see which side of the discourse that you're on.
I like that
So
we're seeing black and white movies again too. That's kind of interesting.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure this was on film too because it was really grainy.
Mm-hmm. Either that or they touched it up in post or something. But yeah, could be.
I don't know the difference between film and digital. Do you?
Digital just looks a lot more like clean and more like manufactured in a sense. Like there's no film grain. There's no like it just seems a lot more. I don't know if I
Yeah.
want to say empty, but like there's no life on the film basically.
Yeah.
And digital just kind of cleans everything up, and so it just looks
Yeah.
super
Yeah.
crystal
Yeah.
clear.
I
And
get what you mean. But did
yeah,
this look like a film to you?
it did.
Okay.
It
So
did.
all right. Just want to make it clear that I knew what I was talking about. So
Oh
anyway,
yeah,
let's
of
move
course, man.
on
I'm
to.
not saying that.
I understand. Yeah, I get it, bro. So anyway, moving on to our final
Our
movie,
last
and
one.
God, the one that we're basing this whole episode around is Earwig and the Witch, the latest Studio Ghibli film, which normally would be an occasion to celebrate, like a
Normally.
momentous celebration of the studio whose last movie was 2014's when Marnie was there, finally making a triumphant return. And then
This
you see,
happened.
and then it's in CG. The fact that it's in CGI is the least of this movie's problems, should,
Ugh.
which says a lot about. Okay, so Earwig and the Witch. It's based off. Hold on, Earwig. I'm just bringing up the Wikipedia page as well. It's directed by Goro Miyazaki, Hayao Miyazaki's son. His third film after Tales from Earthsea and From Up on Poppy Hill. It's based on the novel by Diana Wynne Jones, who also wrote Howl's Moving Castle. The story is that Erica is a girl at an orphanage in Britain, although the higher ups of the orphanage refer to her. Actually, her real name is Earwig, but Erica is just what they call her. She spends most of her time bossing everyone around, including her alleged best friend Custard. Which, yeah, what the hell kind of name is that? Custard.
Custard.
Custard, yeah. Parents
Her
died for giving him that name. So anyway,
name
um,
is Earwig. So
yeah, just, so,
you.
yeah, but and so
You,
she gets
David.
adopted by a witch, as well as a mandrake, essentially a demonic sort of figure, and she's taken in. She goes into their house, and she's basically there just to be their slave, essentially, just to doing all the housework and whatnot. And she tries to learn the magic of a witch as well. The spells, along with a cat named Thomas, and a talking cat named Thomas, and later she comes across this tape that her mother gave her before she left her the orphanage. Called "Don't Disturb Me," which is basically from this certain band. And unbeknownst to her, it's the band that her mother was a part of. And so, yeah, it sounds like I'm struggling to come up to describe what happens. Is that the movie is just, it basically gave me nothing, in terms of the plot and such. And this was a crushing disappointment for me as a huge Studio Ghibli fan. Kiona, want to throw in your 2 cents?
Did you like Earwig as a character?
I did not.
I found her to be the most precocious, annoying little brat.
I know.
I
The
did
first
not
thing-
like her.
Yeah, like she like I said, she bosses everyone. She calls the chef who works there fat, and she just bullies Custer around. You never buy that they're friends, or she likes hanging around with him. This movie, it has no heart. Essentially, this movie,
Which is what Ghibli or
is
Ghibli
known
films
for.
have. That's what
Yeah,
they're supposed to have.
this movie is basically Kiki if Kiki was just an unlikable brat. This
And
movie, it like
I don't even
when
like
she
the
finds out, like where she finds out that her mom was in this. No, when she finds out that these two, the witch and the demon, they were in this band, that her mother. She doesn't even find out that her mother's even in the band. She doesn't even meet her until the tail end of the movie.
and then they
And
leave it open for a sequel.
right, and the end credits, they show like illustrations of the aftermath. They don't even show her interacting with the mom.
There's not even a villain in this movie necessarily, because there's no like point to what her struggle is. Like she's okay, so Earwig's whole quest in this movie, which isn't much of one, is that she wants to learn magic. And to do that, she just annoys the crap out of everyone, including the cat.
So the cat, and the running gag is she keeps calling the cat Custard instead of Tom. But that gag, that was running to the
that was
ground.
great.
Yeah, that basically shows her how much she
God.
valued her time with Custard.
I hate this movie too. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have no.
This movie, it crushed
Not
me
much.
because here I am thinking that Ghibli can do no wrong, and me doing this huge ass marathon of all the Ghibli movies prior to that, even their absolute weaker ones like Tales of Mercy, was also directed by Goro, and The Cat Returns, and I still enjoy those movies. I honestly do. And
Watch their old movies
What?
instead of this. Watch their other movies instead of this.
Yeah, it's like he even directed From Up on Poppy Hill, which is one of my favorite Ghibli movies. Actually,
Mhm.
I quite
that
enjoy
one
that.
had how writing the screenplay. So
Brother
Mhm.
Hayao. It's Father Hayao.
yeah,
Mhm,
sorry,
mhm.
Hayao. That one had his dad writing the script. So
Um,
That makes
yeah,
sense.
like that which would explain why it's probably his best movie.
yeah, that really says a lot about him, like as a director and such. And I just really hope Hayao manages to make How Do You Live, because I'm scared now because he's up there.
I really
He
hope
just
that
turned
they.
80.
I hope that Goro Miyazaki learns, kind of learns a lesson from this, and kind of like goes back to doing like their traditional hand-drawn animation, because I think that speaks more to their artistry and more to
Yeah.
how like it just speaks more to their talent, really.
Yeah.
And they're one of the last studios who actually does that sort of animation anymore. Like not even Disney will do it anymore.
Yeah,
So
it's how did it look though? How did it look in terms of like the design?
I did not like the CG. I did not like the character designs. I did not like the plasticky, weird just look of it, I
Sometimes
did
it
not like.
sometimes the movements, it looked kind of impressive. Like it was interesting seeing Ghibli characters move in that sort of way. But there were times where it did look disturbing. Like this one time when Earwig, she casts a spell on the witch Baba Yaga to put
Yeah,
an extra pair of hands on her, and one of them's on her head and the other one's on her ass, and and when Earwig, she's looking at this, and then she just starts laughing, but it's like a Charlie Brown laugh where
that was.
her head is tilted back and just shows her mouth, and that just looked disturbing.
It's like when they did some, like, yeah, they would do these stylized things like just all of a sudden out of nowhere, and it didn't fit with the rest of the film, like that
And
specifically. That
this
moment.
movie, it wasn't interesting to look at. Even like
No.
almost all of it takes place in this little house, and it's just suffocating. It's like even with Arrietty, Secret World of Arrietty, that took place in an enclosed environment too, but at least had the different sizes of you know of show and also of Arrietty, the tiny one. So you had these different perspectives, so it was visually interesting. Here there was just nothing to look at. There was
Yeah.
just nothing. There was just nothing interesting. There was just this movie. Yeah, again, like I even don't even know what the end game of this movie was. Like she starts off bossing people around and getting her way all the time, and then it ends with her bossing everyone around and getting her way all the time.
And the score, the soundtrack to this film, I felt like it was just noise. And I usually don't mind jazzy soundtracks or anything like that, but this movie, it just felt like noise to me. It just didn't match anything. It didn't match the character. It didn't tell me anything about the character. Her also her self-narration throughout this entire film.
Mm,
Who is she talking to?
mm, mm. Well, isn't that like narration altogether? Like, isn't that just something like?
I mean, but it doesn't show us like they could have done it as voiceover or something. Like it just, is she talking to the audience? Like, what is the point of that? Of like, I'm going to slip this through the wall now, and it's just like we already know you're already doing it. Like,
Right.
just show it to us and don't say anything. Like, shut up.
Um.
I just hate this. I don't like this character. I don't like this
And
movie at all.
like the music, even like the part when they're like the stuff with them being in a band, that doesn't factor into the movie at all. That doesn't
Yeah, what was the
in,
point of that?
in any meaningful way. Even it was just to show, the witch and the mandrake, they had a thing with her mom, and for some reason the mom left, and and that pissed them off, and like we only hear them sing one song throughout it, which it's called "Don't Disturb
My
Me," and
God,
the only
don't
relevance it
disturb
has,
me.
yeah, and the only relevance it has is the mandrake doesn't like it when she disturbs him.
That was the point of it. That's the reason why
Yeah,
it's
that was
called
the
Don't Disturb Me.
of it, and the mandrake, the mandrake and the witch Baba Yaga, they have no character at all. Basically, it's just Baba Yaga. She's just the bitchy witch, and Mandrake, all he does is just he's at a table reading a newspaper, reading the bad reviews for the books that he's reading, and he doesn't show any emotion beyond just pissed off. Essentially, like he just like there's no warmth among any of these characters. You never get a sense of them growing. It's not like Howl's Moving Castle, where even the Witch of the Waste, even when she is started off as a typical witch, that she has a warmer side to her, and you do feel sorry and have some sympathy, and you just feel nothing for these two.
And what is Earwig's motivation in staying there? Shouldn't she be trying to get out?
Exactly. It's like, yeah, and Thomas, he's basically just Gigi. Except he has really no distinguishing character, and this movie somehow managed to get Richard E. Grant as Mandrake and Dan Stevens as Thomas and Casey Musgraves, whom I've never heard of. Apparently she's a big Ghibli fan. Yeah, this I could think of.
Is she a voice actress? I think.
I don't. I
I think
think
she's a
she's
voice actor.
She's a singer. She actually,
or singer? Oh, okay.
yeah, she's 6 Grammy Awards apparently. And this
Well,
is
you
just a
can definitely tell in this film.
yeah. It's like this
I'm gonna
movie just
sing the
made me,
same line 20 different times, like "Don't disturb me" 20 different
don't
times.
disturb me. Like
God.
I'm just the movie that really shocks me. Okay, there's this part of Ghibli history that's kind of infamous where there was this rift between Hayao and Goro over Tales from Earthsea. And when there was a staff screen of it, Hayao, he walked out an hour in just to have a cigarette break, saying he was in there for 3 hours. Okay. So, and he wrote a message to Goro, which was the most backhanded compliment ever. It was made honestly, so it was good. And for some reason, Hayao he loved this movie. Hayao Miyazaki.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I think he said, I'm pretty sure he said that they have a movie to rival Pixar.
No.
Hold on, what?
No.
Okay.
Well,
No.
maybe it's rivaling Cars 2.
Maybe Cars 2, maybe.
Maybe Cars 2, because like that was the movie that kind of like put like that kind of made Pixar. That was Pixar's first rotten scored movie. Maybe this is following in those footsteps.
Is this
I
like The
saw a
Good
critic
Dinosaur?
that said that I even heard a critic that said that this movie felt like Ghibli making their own mockbuster.
So from Yahoo News, I just pulled this up. It says Goro did accept some of his dad's advice about character work. Quote, "My father and I had a few conversations about how we were going to portray Earwig. The girl's precocious plans to control people were a particular concern. It's written in the book that she sometimes manipulates people. The word itself can sound quite negative, so we talked about how we could make her charming and a character people would love and relate to without losing her essence. Did you feel charmed by this child?
I did not.
Did you
I
did you
absolutely
feel
did not at
love
all.
and relate to her?"
Right. There was
No.
nothing. This movie was just soul crushing. Like I would not say I'm a huge Studio Ghibli fan, so I honestly, the thing is, I always said before watching this movie, I would rather watch the worst Ghibli movie than the best Illumination any day. And now watching this movie, I now have a sudden urge to pop in Despicable Me.
Dude. So Miyazaki said we didn't want to make it a very epic story because that would be a lot of work. This story was very concise, compact, and very fun, and I felt that it was very fitting for what we were trying to do. As for how his relationship with his father has fared during the pandemic, Miyazaki is less forthcoming. "We have been in touch. I know he's still alive," he deadpans. Dude, take your lesson from this, please, and go back to traditional animation. Do not do another CGI movie. I tell you, it's just CGI. Here's my problem. Unless you're Pixar, CG to me, it just looks very one note all the time. Like I don't know, maybe Over the Moon and movies like that are a little more stylized or that have like an artist signature to them are a bit
Or Spider-Verse.
better, or Spider-Verse, for instance. Yeah, because that had a style to it. But like most CGI animated films to me just look all the same. So
Especially like because it's usually
unless they're, I will say, unless they're like more, sometimes unless they're more like independent and have their own style, like the Willoughbys.
true.
Willoughby,
Yeah, true.
to my knowledge, was like, that was CGI, but it looks like a lot like stop motion too, and it had a really unique style to it as well.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't love the Willoughbys either, but I would say that I like that movie a lot more than this.
I do want to say something though. Like, I think that if Studio Ghibli does want to delve into CGI, which I think they have the ability to do,
yeah,
like, as
they could.
As someone who has not seen this and probably won't,
yeah,
I think they could. It's just they need to take a lot of time and dedication into making sure it is something worthwhile and means something, and can get out there. this
I really
was
yeah.
not it.
This-
Like,
I'm honestly convinced that when the trailers came out for this movie, we saw the animation stills. I had my rose tinted glasses on. I just like Cameron and Mike. I was on a Renegade Animation one, and we were talking about Earwig. And I said, well, the designs are unmistakably Ghibli, and for what it's worth, it does look better than Ronia the Robber's Daughter, which is their Ghibli, their first foray into TV. Okay, so even that's not even saying much. That's not even like, and I was kind of judging Ghibli fans who were already poo-pooing this. I was like, guys, come on, it's Ghibli. Don't be like that or whatever. Don't be a purist or whatever. But yeah, I can actually see where they're coming from. I don't even know. Like I said, there are times where it does, like the backgrounds do look kind of hand drawn because of the lighting. Actually, I thought they did a good job on that.
Yeah.
But there's some shots where it's just showing inanimate objects moving, and that just looked phony. That just didn't look. It just didn't look professional at all. Like the texturing was just not there, and the rendering wasn't there, and think of it, that script wasn't there. It was just such a. This movie just went in so many different directions. There's no sense of flow or character development in anything. And this was just such an empty movie. And like this is easily, without question, the worst Studio Ghibli movie. Like the second worst, I think, is probably Ocean Waves, their other made-for-TV movie. Because to this movie's credit, it was made for TV, so its expectations aren't exactly that high. Right. But the second worst is Ocean Waves, and it is goddamn spirited away compared to this. And it was just, it takes a true fan to admit that when a studio they love has made a bad movie. Okay. And I can at least take pride that at least I'm not doing mental gymnastics and justifying this movie like many hardcore Ghibli fans, I'm assuming, are.
Well, I'm very curious to hear what Mike and Cameron think about this one.
Cam, I think he was a little more positive with this one, but yeah, he was.
Yeah, I get the feeling that they might like it more than we did.
Yeah.
I could not stand it. I can't stand the character.
It was just soul crushing, man. It was just soul crushing. Like Ghibli, they know how to make you feel. Like when I watched When Marnie Was There, I was literally sobbing at parts during that movie because the emotion was just so there. Like that was one of the most emotionally powerful movies I've seen from this, and even in my entire life. And to see them come back with something like this, it was just. I feel bad for Mike because apparently he hasn't watched a whole ton of Ghibli movies, and man, like having this, like I feel sorry for the poor bastard who has this as their first Ghibli movie. It's like having Home on the Range as your first Disney movie.
I think I've only seen 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 of them.
Oh,
so
God,
like, so even so, but even I can tell like their hand-drawn stuff and their earlier stuff is so much better than this. So much better.
It's beautiful, man. Like
there's so much heart in movies
they're
like
so immersive. The backgrounds, and this is CGI, an animation style that's supposed to be immersive, and I just wasn't at all. Like it's because with bad CGI, there's always this inherent uncanny valley to it, as opposed to even bad hand drawn. And with hand drawn, like as Ghibli, like they're not realistic, but you're able to be sucked into them anyway. That's how good they are. And honestly, this movie was just, I don't even know what to say of it. It's just, this is, I think, okay, dollar to donuts, this is probably the worst movie I've ever covered for it's up there with Artemis Fowl. I'm just gonna say that.
Ooh.
Or I don't know, but man, it's worse than My
Artemis
Spy.
Fowl.
Okay.
Someone I know on Twitter
worse.
actually compare it to Artemis Fowl as well. So You're not the first person I've seen make that comparison. I'm on the record.
It's
The first
worse
comparison,
than My
Earwig and the Witch.
Spy. I freaking hate My Spy.
And it's God, like
God damn it.
like fuck it. The painted bird was more enjoyable than this. The painted bird, the fucking painted bird. And that movie just sucked the soul right out. This movie is just this
At
is
least it
the
had a point to
angriest
it.
I've ever been. But like it's like Ghibli, what if you now I remember how I feel when Cars 2 came out. It was just so Hayden, what do you think? Does this sound appealing to you?
I'm probably not going to watch this one.
Avoid
Don't.
it like the
Don't.
goddamn plague
Save
it
yourself.
is.
Yeah.
Save yourself.
I just remember like you were suggesting this movie and I was just like, oh, Studio Ghibli, that's probably gonna be, and then I saw like all the reviews it was getting and I was like, oh no.
Yeah,
No.
it was just oh my
Wow, man.
fucking shit, man. This was
Oh, so bad. Now watch. Mike and Cameron are gonna go on animation and they're gonna be like, this movie, it had its flaws, but it wasn't that bad. They're gonna totally be opposite of what we're saying here.
yeah. Oh, hey, you know what? If
They
find something to like in it, then great. Then
opinions. They're like
opinions. Remember our code. We don't.
Yeah,
I
we don't
hope
get
they
mad
at
at
least
each other over
understand
differing
why
opinions.
we're like this. Why understand why this movie was just.
I just thought it was terrible.
And this is bad by any animation studio standards, but from studio
plot twist, they end up in hating it more than you do.
yeah,
That would be amazing, honestly.
yeah.
You just hear Michael like, "Fuck this movie, fuck it all."
Yeah.
Oh my god!
This movie would have been bad if it came from any other animation studio, but from Ghibli, man. If I ever do another Ghibli marathon, I'm just not gonna even bother with this. This is just
I agree with you.
It makes me extra sad that Isao Takahata is dead.
Also, for the record, I just want to bring up that I don't actually think Cars 2 is like the worst thing ever. Like, not that it's good, but Cars 2 is like kind of like just mostly, if another studio made it, it would have been considered mediocre. This does not sound like it has that benefit.
No, it doesn't. Like you can't even look at its standards beyond. You can't even praise it for standards beyond a Ghibli movie. I've got nothing else to say. Watch it on HBO Max if you absolutely must. If you must watch everything under the sun coming from Ghibli. If you're a casual Ghibli fan, don't bother with this. Just don't. Just stay away from it, or else it will just turn you off from. My biggest fear is that people are just getting to Studio Ghibli will come across this movie like, really, this is the animation studio that people love so much, and it might dissuade them from watching movies that are so much better than it. Like.
Thankfully, I think Spirited Away and their other movies have enough clout that it will hopefully dilute this,
overshadow this.
I think so. I think it will.
I think it'll be. I think newbies will be fine with this. I mean, I think edit this. I think that ultimately the studio will be fine and that people will like find their good movies. Like the movies that are good are too good and too well known to
1 out of like 25
to overshadow.
Yeah. That's not a bad ratio.
I just hope this movie gets buried. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for Yeah, that J Kids is almost contractually obligated to release this thing.
Yeah.
They're such an amazing distributor. I'm just so deflated, man. This
Yeah.
movie is my Last of Us 2, okay?
Well, I mean, there are some of us that enjoyed Last of Us 2.
I know what you're saying, but given the hatred that gang got, like, this is my Luke tossing away his lightsaber.
I laughed at that.
only this one isn't even justified, okay? Even
Yeah, no, I get what you're
you
saying.
get what I mean, right? I wasn't angered by that like so many other people.
The divisiveness and the like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I'm sure that there are some people who like this movie, and if you do, more power to you. I don't see it myself. I found the lead character to be very irritating, and I just thought it was a pointless film.
Pointless is
Narratively, just no point to it.
that is the operative word right here. Pointless. So anyway, I think we've said our piece.
I think that's about it for these movies, man. A bit of a mixed bag this time.
Yeah, at least that was at least we got
At least we had 3 out of 5, 60% good, 40% not so much. So,
yeah.
Do you guys have any recommendations for this week?
For recommendations, just watch any movie in this other movie in the Studio Ghibli catalog beyond this. And even watch Mary and the Witch's Flower that was directed by Hiromasa Yonebayashi at his own Studio Panak. That feels so much more like a Ghibli movie than this actual Ghibli movie.
Go and read our Fresh Take series and go back and rewatch Gurren Lagann. That's even more fun than this.
Hayden, what's your recommendation?
In terms of anything?
In terms of anything, it doesn't have to be anime.
Sound of Metal is very good.
Ooh, I want to watch that. Yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. And Paul Raci deserved the nomination way more than Jared Leto did.
God, yes.
I'm just bringing that up.
Oy.
Yeah, I'm just. Wow, the Golden Globe nominations were a mess this year.
Yeah,
weren't they though?
The whole music debacle.
More than usual. They were really, really bad nominations this year.
How the fuck was music nominated
for 2 awards?
What the hell was Sia thinking with that? As an autistic person, that movie, Justin. I know I'm already angry enough, so I won't get into that one.
Yeah,
but man, Sia, you done boofed with that.
And now she deactivated her Twitter.
Yeah, there's that, but that's enough negativity for one episode. I think the next one should be more positive because we're gonna base that around Nomadland, I think.
Okay.
And for that, we'll also be talking about Judas and the Black Messiah. So,
has anybody seen News of the World with Tom Hanks?
I've seen that in theaters, actually.
Is that worth watching?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, I'll probably give that a watch.
Yeah.
There's a movie. Oh, go ahead, Hayden. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I really want to see Saint Maud, which is finally coming out next week.
Okay.
24. It's exclusive to Epics apparently, but
bullshit.
Really?
I'm always a slut for an A24 horror film, so
Yeah.
There's a movie on Netflix called Finding Ohana, which is about Hawaii, so I'm gonna check that out and watch it. I've seen like maybe the first 10 minutes of it so far. It's pretty good, not bad.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a kids movie. We
should talk about that for
not
this
bad
one.
so far. We can talk about that on the next one if you want.
Yeah,
just a short,
also
short review.
Recommendations that's recommendations for a movie that is kind of similar to Promising Young Woman but not quite is there's a French horror film called Revenge. It's on Shudder.
Oh yeah.
It's a very different tone than a Promising Young Woman, but that's like it's a more basic revenge film, but I think that was done very, very well.
The Promising Young Woman had more suspense in it than The Little Things. That's a low bar to cover, but I mean, it really did.
The only suspense I felt in Little Things was, when is this going to end?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I can't believe that movie's the #1 movie in theaters right now.
And when is Jared Leto going to say, "Oh, poop, I made a boo-boo"? Okay, if you like The Little Things, I would recommend any thriller show in the 90s was better than that. Like Along Came a Spider, The Bone Collector, Kiss the Girls, all of those, Silence of the Lambs, for God's sake, all of those movies are better than The Little Things. Seven. Yeah. Zodiac. I would even watch Zodiac way over. I mean, like, I would watch that like 20 times over this. I would watch the Community episode that was a spoof of Zodiac over this.
Yeah.
The Ass Crack Bandit episode. Watch that. That is more fun and more suspenseful than The Little Things. Watch that on Netflix, everybody. I'm also going to recommend, again, reiterating from last week, I'm going to recommend Schitt's Creek one more time because I actually got to the end of that show and I loved it so much. And Alexis is my favorite. Yeah, that's about it for me, guys. Anybody else have any recommendations?
WandaVision, yeah.
Again, that's like at the tail end of the episode.
WandaVision.
So we're gonna do a WandaVision episode at some point, right?
Yeah, that was a brilliant twist, I gotta say, but that was just ingenious, man. I was freaking mind blown that they actually pulled that off.
Yep, that was good.
Right, so
the last 2 episodes have been my favorites of the season.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to the rest of it.
Yep, same here. All right, Hayden, you got any more recommendations you want to say, or?
There's a lot of good stuff out there, so keep an eye out. Let us know, I guess. Yeah,
let us know in the comments below, guys, if you have any suggestions for us or anything you want us to cover in the future. We will definitely, take it into consideration. So yeah, let us know how we're doing.
Although I do certainly have some movies in mind for us to talk about, like I said, Judas and Nomadland, and maybe that Barb and Star go to Castle Del Mar.
Ooh, I don't know.
Mar, yeah.
I don't know if I can sit through that.
I'll
try.
Or maybe Flora and Ulysses, that Disney Plus movie with the girl and the squirrel.
Yeah. Also, Minari, I'm hearing amazing things about.
Yeah, I've heard great things about that. And
yeah, same here. All right. So Hayden, where can anybody find you online if they want to follow you?
I can be found on Twitter at the Hayden Wilder or on Instagram at Hayden Wilder.
Awesome. All right. And Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook and Twitter. It's Jacob Krehbiel, Krehbiel. And I'm also part of the Renegade Pop Culture Facebook group.
All right, guys, you can find me at renegadepopculture.com. That's where we have our show notes. That's where we have articles. That's also where we have all of our podcasts are up there archived as well. You can listen to us anywhere that you can find podcasts, basically Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google. Just search for Renegade Pop Culture whenever you visit. And you can find us on Facebook. The Facebook group is facebook.com/group/RPC42. And I am Neoplasmic24 on Instagram and Steam if you want to add me on Steam. And on Twitter and Facebook, our official pages are at Ren Pop Culture, REN Pop Culture. All right, guys, we will catch you on the next one. Talk to you guys later.